Welcome back, everyone. This is finding your pelvis and hip joints using the Feldenkrais method. So we're going to do a tour of the pelvis, the center of our body, and we're going to find the hip joints, which give us a lot of information about where we are in space and are really crucial to our force transmission that we're going to explore in the next audio. So this audio will be really helpful. Okay, so again, please have a space to walk around in if that's possible, and a chair to sit in as well. So just pause the audio while you set that up if you need to. And begin again in standing and noticing the contact of your 2 feet. Whether there's more weight going through one leg than the other leg. So check your right leg and your left leg. And just begin to shift your weight from one foot to the other foot. Just side to side. Which side did you go to first? And notice if that side's clearer or simpler or easier. And if I was to say, as you shift your weight side to side, notice if your right heel, your right hip joint goes over your right heel, and notice if your left hip joint goes over your left heel, and is there one side that's simpler or clearer as you notice that. And then begin to allow that side to side motion to take you into walking around the space wherever you find yourself, whether that's inside or outside. Noticing again the contact of your 2 feet with the ground as you walk, and the movements of your breath, and where you look, whether you look above the horizon or below the horizon, or directly on the horizon. So just take a walk and notice those things. And then come back to standing. We're going to take a tour of our pelvis. And at any time, if you prefer to sit down on your chair or on the floor, please feel free to do that. Whatever makes it easier for you. So begin by placing your hands on your waist and just slide down till you feel the curved bones at the bottom of your waist. So they are the top of your iliac crests, the top of your pelvis, the top of the ilium, so they're the iliac crests, this round curved bone. So just focus on one side at a time. So begin by going to the right side. So have your right hand on the top of your iliac crest, the right side of your pelvis, and begin to follow the edge of that bone around from front to back. So if you like, you're palpating the iliac crest, the top curve of the ilium, the border there, but do it in a soft, gentle way, as if you were touching a baby. So just follow the line around from the front to the back. And so as you go around the bone at the back, you'll come more and more towards the middle where your sacrum is. So see if you can find where the ilium then becomes the sacrum. Where's that connecting point for you? So you've got the sacrum in the middle, and then as you come around the side, you can feel your iliac crest. So take your hand to your sacrum in the middle at the back of your pelvis, and if you can, put your whole hand there so that the palm is the top, meets the top of the sacrum, and your fingers go down towards the floor. So the sacrum is an upside down triangular shaped bone, and it's about the same size as your hand. So putting your hand with the fingers pointed down and the palm over the top of the sacrum, you're pretty much matching the shape of your sacrum. So you can bring your hand out in front of you and look at the whole hand, and that's about the same size. It's not exactly the same shape, but it's about the same size as your sacrum. And now let's continue the tour around the left side of your pelvis. So swap hands and take your left hand behind you, and you can again find the middle, find the sacrum. And then from there you can begin finding the left iliac crest and follow the curve around, this time from back to front. Just follow it around, again gently palpating as if you were touching a baby. Following the top of the ilium, the iliac crest on the left side, and coming around to your left side and then around towards the front. And as you go to the front, you'll come across more soft tissue, but then you can come across to the pubic bone at the front of your pelvis, the front center of your pelvis, and this is quite a large, strong bone at the front. And it's in two parts with connecting in the middle. So you can feel the width from the left side to the right side, and you can feel the upper edge of your pubic bone and the lower edge. It's quite deep. It's a strong bone at the front there. So again, notice the front of your pelvis. And then at the bottom of the pelvis, we've got two sits bones, the ischial tuberosity, and they're curved bones like the bottom of a rocking chair. They're designed for us to sit on, and when we can sit on our sit bones, the rest of our skeleton feels supported and aligned. So you could, in standing, you could bend one knee, bend your right knee, and place your hand under your right buttock and see if you can find your sit bone. And if it's not clear, please have a seat and put one hand, your right hand, under your right cheek, and again see if you can find your sit bone there. See if you can feel the angle, just one side at a time. And then take the right hand out and feel the left side. Bring your left hand under your left buttock and see which side is clearer. And if you need more time to explore the two sides, just pause the audio. And again, when you've done that, come to standing and just have your hands by your sides, and feel the side of each of your thigh bones, each of your femurs. There's a bony landmark where your hand falls if you've just got your hands long by your sides. Again, let's go to the right side first. So feeling the bony landmark on the right side of your right thigh, and that's the greater trochanter. There's a lot of muscles that are attached there, and then from the greater trochanter, your hip, the neck of your femur comes in towards your pelvis, and you've got the head of your femur, the hip itself, sitting in the socket at the bottom of your pelvis there. So just imagine that. So the hip takes an inward turn and sits in the socket of your pelvis, the acetabulum. And so let's find the hip joint itself. So a great way to do that is to put one hand on your iliac crest, the bony joint at the top of, or the bony landmark at the top of your pelvis at the front. We're still on the right hand side, and then put one hand on your pubic bone, the other hand on your pubic bone, and draw a line from your iliac crest to your pubic bone. It'll be about 45 degrees, that line, and then halfway along that line is where the front of your hip joint will be located. So you won't be able to feel the bone itself directly, but you'll be able to feel movement under the soft tissue. So if you bend your right knee and turn your right knee in and out, just pivot on your foot, in and out, and see if you can feel some movement under the soft tissue at the front of your pelvis. And so that's the movement you feel from your hip moving in and out, rotating in and out. So see if you can find that. And then explore that on the left side as well. Finding the iliac crest on the left side, the pubic bone, then drawing a line between them, and halfway between that line, seeing if you could feel the movement of your left hip joint. So bending your left knee, turning your knee in and out, and see is the left side clearer or the right side. And then while you're exploring the left hip joint, could you have one hand on the front of the hip joint and one hand on the back of the hip joint. See if you could find movement through the soft tissue at the back as well as your knee goes in and out. So now you're looking for the movement at the front and the back. And then see if you could do that with the right side as well, finding the hip joint at the front and at the back. And so now, if it's not clear or you can't find it, please be aware that even searching for it, you're giving your brain and your nervous system a lot of information, a lot of sensory motor information. So this will be interesting again to see what it's like, what your walking's like, what your standing is like after this exploration. So just let that go. If you need more time, pause the audio again and then come back. So let that go and just stand and notice the weight through your legs, how your ankles stack over your feet, and how your hips and pelvis stack over your ankles and feet. Notice how your torso is supported from your pelvis up, and where you're looking again on the horizon, and notice the movements of your breath. And just again take your weight from side to side. And again, if you think of your hip joint moving over your heel, the right hip joint going over your right heel, the left hip joint going over your left heel, just see if it's any clearer to you after that short exploration. And take a walk around the room and notice if there's anything different. Maybe your hips feel more fluid, or you feel more balanced, or more grounded, or lighter. So there's all sorts of responses from these practices. But again, having a clearer notion of your pelvis and your hip joints is going to be really helpful for the next exploration of force transmission. So I look forward to joining you there. Thank you.